Hello, and welcome to the show. My guest is Senator Joseph Addabbo Jr., Democratic member of the New York State Senate from the 15th District representing Howard Beach, Ozone Park, Woodhaven, and other sections of Queens, New York. In the 2008 elections, he defeated 10-term incumbent Surfin Maltese by a mere 15 percentage points. Senator, thank you for being on the show.
A pleasure, Gary. Good to see you.
A lot going on. Let's get right into it. I'm going to toss out some topics, and basically I'd like you to give me your assessment of each. And I'd like to start with the Arizona immigration law.
Yeah, Arizona obviously, set the tone, and it certainly has had a ripple effect throughout the country. We've seen even our president speak out against it. There will be multiple lawsuits, and rightfully so. Our residents here have a certain right, basically to walk freely amongst the streets and not be concerned or worried about being pulled over for just any whim.
I want to move on to financial reform. There are a lot of Americans, as you know, who are very, very upset about the fact that a lot of people on Wall Street have basically gotten away with bloody murder. Do you really believe that the Democrats have an opportunity to legislate real financial reform?
I think the opportunity is there. It's a question of whether it's done or not. Many times, talk is cheap and actions mean so much more than words. And so now we are looking at different alternatives. One of the alternatives being discussed is a tax on the bonuses, where the wealthiest are asked to help out during these tough fiscal times.
Why is it that it's taken all this time before the matter to be taken seriously? By that I mean the situation with Wall Street. This has been going on for years,
Certainly.
with numerous administrations, but yet no regulation had ever been discussed. Why did it have to come to this?
Because our governments, both city and state, and to an extent our federal government, is structured in a reactionary, has a reactionary structure to it. Normally we react to a bad situation. So the idea of bonus tax is only prevalent because the state and the city need the money.
Bailouts. Why haven't the American people been offered one?
Good point. Our senior population. If you think about it, our federal government has spent billions, tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars on bailing out car companies, financial industry, okay? So we have actually seen bailouts of big corporations and big businesses, and yet our seniors, who will see no increase in their COLA payments, their cost of living in their Social Security, they will see no increase over the next 2 years. It's deplorable how we're treating our seniors. So I would like for our government, federal government, to go in a different direction. If it was up to me, I would.
Okay. Do you believe we're headed toward an economic recovery or a double-dip recession?
Just locally, I could tell you that things are getting slightly better. We're hopeful that these businesses, some of the small businesses, come back and start to expand.
Now, is this the general consensus of your colleagues in the Senate, or are you just speaking specifically as a representative of New York State?
Primarily, I speak of what I know, firsthand knowledge of, again, the small businesses and people I speak to.
Okay.
Generally speaking, there is a cautious approach here.
Do you see this healthcare legislation as something that's really going to benefit the American public, or it may serve as a hindrance to some degree?
I think it's too early to tell. To me, the timing of it was ill-conceived. I think really, the idea of healthcare, a more broad structure of healthcare to incorporate more people, very few people will argue with that. Okay, but what they will argue with and are concerned with is the cost. This is a huge cost for us, another increase in debt. But I do think the impact of this bill, given the size of this bill and again the impact that it could have, we won't realize it until maybe 4 or 5 years out.
Sarah Palin has kind of become the de facto leader of the party, and a number of Republicans and members of the GOP have sided with the Tea Party. Does that concern you at all, that nobody's really addressing the fact that these fringe groups appear to be a viable force within the Tea Party and nobody's really speaking out about it?
It is a concern for me, Gary. The Tea Party has a fine name and great marketing. The Tea Party, taxation without representation. It's all good. It's a message that'll resonate throughout the city and state. Check it out. Check out the people, and this day and age with the internet, you can check out backgrounds of people. Check out the background of people who are leading some of these parties and some of these groups. Because you'll find yourself, you may join a group that you initially think believes in what you believe in, but then in the long run, maybe not.
How worried are you and your fellow Democrats about Sarah Palin in 2012?
Sarah Palin does not worry me at all. She really doesn't. I don't have anything written on my hand. I know notes here. The concern that I have, and it's not narrowed down, and it's not earmarked to one particular person like Sarah Palin, it's just a general concern, again, a general notion or general feeling out there that, elected officials aren't listening to the people. There's a disconnect between the people and the elected officials, and that bothers me. It always will.
Well, with all due respect to what you just said, Senator, with that being said, it only takes a few.
No question.
In order to bring down
Mm-hmm.
a party or to cast a very bad light.
Gary?
And that being the case, surely this was going to have the fact that these people have been caught or at least have been alleged to have engaged in illegal activity.
Mm-hmm.
That won't bode well for the Democrats come the midterm elections.
I don't know if it bodes well for any incumbent, regardless of party.
Okay.
I think every incumbent has to be concerned. But you're right. The magnifying glass is on us. The spotlight is on us. And you know what? That's a good thing.
Do you believe Don't Ask, Don't Tell should be repealed?
It's something that has worked. Don't ask, don't tell. And it's something that I know it's on the federal level. I haven't given much thought to it, to be honest with you. But it seems to have worked. It's something that our president and the military is going to have to take care of and address at some point.
A number of people in the gay community, gay civil rights groups, have vowed to raise money to put up a candidate to run against you.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you vote against the legislation?
I'm of the opinion, and it's my theory when I do as a public servant, to listen to the voice of my people. There are those who say I influenced the whole Senate body, that when I voted no, and I was the first to vote no, the first Democrat to vote no, that the Republican side of the aisle saw that I voted no, and they all voted no. Couldn't be further from the truth. One, because I never mentioned what my vote was going to be until I took the vote. And secondly, 30 Republicans, the total body, voted no as a block. They knew they were voting no. We knew they were voting no. We knew going into the vote we didn't have enough votes. And even if you took my vote out of it, that vote to pass that bill was still 7 short.
I'd like to ask you a question now that's going to border on the personal. One of the areas that you represent is Howard Beach, which has been a hotbed of racial tension for many, many years. Were you in this office or in the area the night Barack Obama was elected President of the United States? And if so, can you tell me how your constituents responded?
When Barack Obama was elected back in 2008, I was part of that ticket. It's been obviously tagged with certain isolated instances, and I say isolated because I think we've come so much further from those instances since they have occurred. Racism, hate crimes, not to be tolerated anywhere, not only in Howard Beach but anywhere they have happened. Here's another instance where a few ruined it for the many. There's many good people in Howard Beach, far outweigh the ones that might contribute to hate crimes.